Hello, party people. So, had to record this one a second time because I screwed up a little bit and forgot to turn on this mic. Yeah, it happens. So, anyway, today we're going to have a little chat about icebergs because everybody loves icebergs and, you know, there are reasons. So, from VOCM, unofficial tours prompt Transport Canada warning on vessel safety rules. Transport Canada says all vessels that carry passengers in Canadian waters must comply with applicable regulations under the Canada Shipping Act. Transport Canada was responding to questions raised by some tour boat operators who are concerned with people taking tourists out in a boat for cash to view icebergs and whales. It's not an uncommon practice. Transport Canada says vessel owners, masters, crew, and operators are reminded of their legal responsibilities when transporting passengers, including meeting specific requirements for life-saving equipment on board certain types of vessels. Anyone considering embarking on a tour on a vessel that carries more than 12 passengers should look for a Transport Canada certificate. And here we see an image taken by Justin Blackmore of an iceberg off Twillingate. And I will point out that, and while I'm doing that, I will actually bring back the slideshow, because there's a few funny ones in here. But for the record, you need to be aware that 10% of an iceberg's mass is what stays above the water. This illustrates it. Just the tip. But what you need to be aware of with that 10% is that if it's a 20 or 30 foot high iceberg, you're looking at potentially 270 feet of iceberg below it, which means you need to maintain a certain distance from an iceberg and you need to be on your friggin' toes. Because if your boat is too close to the iceberg and it calves, which means it loses a certain degree of the mass of it, it may very well roll in such a way that it endangers your boat and your passengers. Now, if you're just a regular person who, hey, some tourist hands you $100 bill and says, hey, can you take us out to have a look at the iceberg? Then it's on you. It's your responsibility not just to make sure that you and your boat are safe, but that the people in it are safe. Which means if they're not willing and you don't have enough flotation devices or life jackets for everybody, including yourself, you need to not do it. Okay? It's simply not safe. You don't know how much experience these people have on the water. They may never have been in a boat before. And they may think that it's perfectly acceptable to stand up in the middle of a turn in a boat, especially a small open boat. For the record, it's not. That's extremely dangerous, and have fun hitting the wake, if not the engine. And that one looks like Batman. But you need to be aware that not only do you need to be safe around icebergs, you need to make sure the people that are with you are safe. So you should have enough, what do they call it? PFDs, personal flotation devices? Life jackets, essentially. But you should have enough life jackets for everybody, including the operator of the vehicle, of the boat. I keep wanting to say vehicle, which is a fair, accurate term, but no. But yeah, you need to be aware that when these things calve, when an iceberg turns or rotates or shifts, it can make a very large effect, even to the point where it may start to calve from the top, start to rotate over, because, you look at an iceberg in a glass, or ice cube in a glass of water, you poke that thing and rotate it with a toothpick, for example. It's going to make a lot of disruption on the surface of that fluid. When you scale that up, it is possible for an iceberg to calve from the top, start to rotate, calve again because of the stresses in the ice, and it may lift your boat out of the water, but what's worse is it may then calve again and suck your boat down. These things happen, or can happen, and you need to be prepared for them. So yeah, be safe out there. Go have fun by all means, but please be safe. So anyway, just like the icebergs, my little seal buddy here is small from the top and big from the bottom. This one looks like Batman. And remember, 90% of an iceberg is below the water's surface, so that's just the tip. And yeah, this is actually a real picture of an iceberg from a few years ago, which was nicknamed the Dickieberg. Yeah. In any case, folks. Oops. There we go. I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And as always, rise and rise again. until lambs become lions. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow. Hello, party people. So I'm attempting to make a go of this whole content creation thing, and I could really use your support, either monetary or, just moral. Though by moral I mean please like and share, comment, send it out to your friends, your frenemies, your family, and your foes. In any case, another way you can support me, and I am changing my merch store over to Fourth Wall, which is why it still says Redbubble in the bottom. You also have the option to send me a tip on Ko-Fi. But in the meantime, until I get the Fourth Wall up, sorted, ready to go, I will be keeping the Redbubble store open for a little while. Some of the designs that are in the Redbubble store will not be repeated on Fourth Wall. In fact, I am considering moving to a somewhat more limited run sort of system for some of these designs. Some of them cease to be topical after a while. I still have a number of the, let's call it the disease with no name designs. In any case, I do appreciate any support you guys give me, even if it is simply sharing it or even liking and commenting. Every comment I see, I will respond to. Other than that, as always, I hope you're well and continue to be well. Rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.